Live from the WTXL studios, this is ABC 27's News at 5.
I don't feel like a hero. I just, just reactive. Sometimes if you can help, just try to help. I just didn't want to see him in flames.
A Quincy man is being hailed a hero after pulling a victim from a plane crash. Good Friday evening, I'm Abby Maurer. The small plane crashed into some trees in front of a home on Havana Highway. That's east of Quincy, near the Quincy Municipal Airport. The Gadsden County Sheriff's Office confirms one man was taken to the hospital. No word on his name or the extent of his injuries, although EMS says he was alert and coherent when they were taking him to the hospital. Sergeant Angeli Hightower says Rutherford Black Jr. pulled the trapped man from the plane. Black says he would have done what anyone would have done if they saw someone in trouble.
When I got out, I saw a guy moving inside, so I noticed that it had just happened. So I jumped the fence, broke the plexiglass, and dragged him out. And it was a lot of fuel coming out, and so I just dragged him over here in the corner, away from the plane, and just tried to stabilize him, call 911.
No other injuries are reported. We don't yet know what caused the plane to crash, but the NTSB will be investigating. Staff at one Leon County school acted quickly today after they smelled marijuana coming from a student. Employees say they searched the 15-year-old boy's backpack and found marijuana and a loaded gun. This is actually video of deputies arresting the student at Nims Middle School. For the Leon County Sheriff's Office, this incident showed how important it is for school staff to stay aware of their surroundings. The gun that was found in the student's backpack had been reported stolen to the Tallahassee Police Department. Because of this, the student was charged with grand theft of a firearm along with other charges. And Tallahassee police are investigating a shooting right now at Seminole Grand Apartments. They were called to the 1500 block of West Thurp Street around 1 o'clock today. Now, police have not yet released any other information. We will update you when we have more details. Well, so far, just 1 in 10 active registered voters in Leon County have cast a ballot in the primary election. Historically, turnout has been low in Tallahassee's south side, but one woman is trying to change that one ride at a time. WTXL ABC 27 Stephen G. tagged along for a special trip she made Thursday.
This would be one of those things that I want to be saved in our memory bank of our minds and of our heart.
It was a quick ride for Sheila Thompson Williams and her passenger.
Caravan and some of his friends as well.
Before she hit the road, she hit the streets.
Our voices really matter, and it's important that we stay woke and we vote.
Sheila lives in precinct 1319, where 2 years ago, just 72% of voters cast ballots in the general election and only 37% in the primary.
To be able to have a seat at the table, you had to be able to vote, to have representatives in positions that can speak with your voice.
Voting is going to affect everything that's a part of your life, from schools to health care. People died years ago to be able to vote. So I would miss the opportunity.
I don't have the best of cars, but it drives and I can get you there.
Sheila says her 2006 BMW 325i is ready to help bring voters to the polls. Transportation for some in the South Side remains an issue.
You got Uber and all that other stuff that you got to pay for, but here's a free ride. That's awesome of a neighbor.
I can't take pictures, can I? No, ma'am.
Sheila cast her ballot Thursday, one of 126 that day at the B.L. Perry Library.
Give you a hug. Congratulations. Where's your sticker?
Her 19-year-old son, Jordan, voted for the first time. He said young people, especially in the South Side, have to be part of the process.
That's how you make an impact in your community, because you don't know about laws. Laws have to be rewritten by the people that we vote for, and if you don't vote, then you don't make an impact.
Sheila said she'll keep knocking on doors and pushing people to cast their ballots. She said it's going to be a busy weekend for her, and she wouldn't have it any other way. In Tallahassee, Stephen G. WTXL, ABC 27.
In the 2016 primary, just 3% of voters turned out in the precinct where B.L. Perry Library, an early voting site, is located. To get in touch with Sheila and get a ride to the polls this weekend or on primary day, go to our website, WTXL.tv. TV. And it is down to the wire for voters to make their decision before Election Day on August 28th. Tonight, a forum to help those undecided voters. The forum will feature candidates for City Commission seats 1, 3, and 5, Leon County Commission seat 3, and the mayoral race. The FSU NAACP and FSU Student Government are partnering to bring these candidates to campus. This forum is open to all, but places a big focus on issues important to college students. The president of FSU's NAACP says young people are helping shift the world of politics.
Change is happening, and whether we're on that boat or we're off that boat, it's going to happen. So essentially giving us a platform for us to vocalize our opinions as best as possible is really what we're trying to get at with this candidate forum.
She also mentioned that many college students are excited because several millennials are running for office. The forum begins at 5 on FSU's campus. And remember, to vote in Florida, you must have a valid photo ID and an ID with signature. That includes things like your driver's license, a passport, a debit card, or a concealed carry permit. The full list of acceptable identification can be found on the Florida Division of Elections website. If you do not have a photo and signature ID, you may cast a provisional ballot and return later with your ID. And for all of your election coverage, tune in to Wtxl ABC 27 on election night. We'll have live coverage all night long, as well as digital coverage starting online at 7 p.m. You can also download our app to stay updated on the go. And in South Georgia, the Randolph County Board of Elections has decided not to close 7 of their 9 voting precincts in the county. This comes after the county's consultant, Mike Malone, made a proposal to the board to shut down the voting polls in predominantly black areas due to ADA compliance. Asia Wilson visited one of the voting polls that was proposed to close.
I'm at a voting precinct in Shellman, one that was proposed to close down. As you can see behind me, the entrance is flat, wheelchair accessible, and citizens say that some of the other voting precincts are the same. The proposal to close 7 of the 9 polls all changed this morning in a meeting that lasted less than a minute. 2 Randolph County Board of Election members quickly voted to keep the 7 precincts open. Now, Mike Malone was contracted to evaluate the polls, and he said they were not handicap accessible. Voters here are saying this particular location is indeed handicap accessible, and they're not sure why it was considered for closure in the first place.
Easy. Wheelchair can get in there easy because they got a flat, cement for them, to roll in.
Asia Wilson reporting. And for those heading out to the polls to vote, hopefully the weather's going to be nice for the rest of the evening. Let's check in now with First Alert Chief Meteorologist Casanova Nurse. Cass?
A little bit more spotty rain at this hour compared to just 24 hours ago when the atmosphere was much drier. But even the rain that is out there, mostly driven by the sea breeze. A couple of isolated specks of rain across southern Georgia. In fact, earlier right around the South Valdosta area near I-75. That's where the present very limited in coverage shower is situated. But as mentioned, most of the showers are driven by the onshore flow of the sea breeze and the daytime heating, but just not very productive in terms of coverage or intensity. You may run into a few brief sprinkles along Bluntstown Highway just south of Lake Talquin, perhaps a few spots along Florida 65 in Liberty County. A little more in the way of heavier rain possible in parts of the US 19 corridor in Taylor County, as well as southern and southeastern Lafayette County. Even heavier rain in north central Florida, but the overall wind flow east to northeast, so that may help to maybe drive a lot of the heavier rain around Gainesville more towards Dixie and Levy County, and maybe just scraping some of our southernmost counties in the Swanee Valley. Otherwise, it will remain on the warm side with maybe some periods of passing cloud cover. Temperatures hovering right around 90 degrees. Valdosta, that's not a fluke. 79 is legitimate because of the earlier rain and nearby existing cloud cover. Moisture has crept back. The dew points have increased by just a couple of degrees, but it makes all the difference, especially when it comes to the rain probabilities. Winds solidly from the east, some exceptions being along the coast where there's the onshore component to the wind. So I do factor in the possibility for spotty showers or a couple of thunderstorms, especially south of Interstate 10 through about 10 o'clock, but it's still going to be scattered. Not everybody gets it. More on your weekend First Alert forecast in just a bit.
Jeffrey Peacock's third pretrial hearing continued today. Peacock is accused of fatally shooting his 5 friends in May 2016 at a home in Moultrie before setting it on fire. Just hours ago, Judge James Hardy heard arguments issued by the defense requesting to toss out statements made by Jeffrey Peacock to investigators. He's also questioning whether Peacock willingly gave police permission to take a sample of his blood and examine his cell phone. There is a tentative 4th hearing set for October 9th, giving the defense the opportunity to bring their expert to the stand to determine if Peacock willingly gave police information. Taylor County deputies make a major meth bust today. They say it's one of the largest seizures in Taylor County history. Deputies originally responded to a domestic dispute on Foley Cutoff Road Wednesday night. They tracked 2 suspects that ran off. They arrested Michael Hale, but Maverick Lewis is still on the run. The investigation at the home led to the discovery of the meth and the arrest of Tyler Lewis and Roger Slaughter. And deputies in Madison County bust 5 people and remove from the streets more than 15 pounds of synthetic marijuana, more than 100 grams of weed, flocka, and ecstasy, as well as 3 stolen guns. This week, the Drug Task Force conducted 3 drug search warrants and multiple felony arrest warrants in the city of Madison. Quasi Hill was arrested at a home on Northeast Colin Kelly Highway. 4 others were arrested at the Madison Heights apartment complex. A former Tallahassee police officer accused of sexually assaulting a woman during a traffic stop in February is set to begin trial on Monday. A motion hearing was held this morning where the introduction of evidence was denied by the judge. Vincent Crump is accused of sexually battering a woman during a traffic stop on Thomasville Road earlier this year. He was ultimately fired from the police department after the incident. Crump could face more than 20 years in prison if convicted. Well, Maclay School got 3 new innovative classrooms today. These classrooms are made from recycled shipping containers. They're called I Think Labs. The school says it was inspired by the HGTV show Container Homes. These new labs will play a large role in Maclay's initiative to revamp the school's classroom, curriculum, and campus. The school says it believes it is the first school in the Southeast to try this new idea. FSU Alumni Association hosted their annual kickoff luncheon today. Fans got to hear from FSU President John Thrasher and head football coach Willie Taggart. The 2018 Seminole football players and coaches all came out to celebrate. There were also performances by the Marching Chiefs and the FSU cheerleaders and the Garnet and Gold guys. The fans say they're ready for football season to start.
Really excited. After last year, I think from what I've seen with the recruiting process and everything, I think we have a really good chance to have a decent record this year, maybe even land a good bowl game.
Football season officially kicks off on September 3rd when the Seminoles take on the Virginia Tech Hokies at home. But tonight, it's a huge night for high school football. It's a big rivalry night for Thomasville High School and Thomas County Central. WTXL ABC 27 Weekend Sports anchor Kyle Logan joins us now live from Thomasville with more. Kyle.
Hey, Abby, this is a big night for everyone here in the Rose City. Our Friday night football game of the week back in South Georgia. Thomasville and Thomas County Central set to do battle tonight, both 1-0, looking to improve to 2-0 early on here in the 2018 season. Now, you ask both head coaches, Zach Grage and Ashley Henderson, also the folks in this community. If you're in Thomasville, if you're from Thomasville, you're either a Bulldog or you are a Jacket. It should be a fun one tonight. I've also been told by head coach Zach Grage that tonight, Veterans Memorial Stadium expects to see the largest crowd they've ever seen since they've played here at this stadium. It should be a fun one tonight. We'll have much more for you coming up later on tonight at 6. Of course, at 11, we'll have all the highlights and full reaction for you later on in sports. I promise you, you are not going to want to miss it. But for now, reporting live from Veterans Memorial Stadium here in Thomasville, I'm Kyle Logan for WTXL ABC 27. Abby?
Well, this coming Monday is also the first ever Willie Taggart talk show. You can hear from the new FSU head football coach along with the voice of the Seminoles, Gene Deckerhoff, who will be live from the 4 Points by Sheraton. Catch it this Monday from 7 to 8 p.m. live on WTXL ABC 27 and streaming online at WTXL.tv. When we come back, the latest on Senator John McCain's battle with brain cancer.
And in areas like Thomasville, you'll likely avoid any kind of major storminess, but there could be a few of those evening thunderstorms for some parts of the North Florida region. So you do have to factor that into your Friday night football game cast. Warm to start things off, mild and humid later on.
And the first full Friday night football is tonight. WTXL Sports Director Allison Posey and Kyle Logan will have you covered from Georgia to Florida with the best high school football highlights. All of the action kicks off starting at 8:30. Download the WTXL app and go online to WTXL.tv and you can get your game highlights all night long. Well, Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous host Robin Leach died today. He was 76. According to the Las Vegas Review-Journal, Leach suffered a stroke in November and never left the hospital. He had a second stroke Monday. Leach is most well known for hosting Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous from 1984 to 1995, although he worked as a journalist for the Daily Mail, CNN, and People magazine prior. Senator John McCain has stopped receiving treatment for brain cancer. The Arizona Republican was diagnosed with an aggressive glioblastoma last year and actively sought treatment for months. But today his family released a statement about his prognosis. The McCain family wrote, quote, "John has surpassed expectations for his survival, but the progress of the disease and the advance of age render their verdict." McCain ran for president in 2008 and has long been a leader in the Republican Party.
Weather conditions this evening should not be all that horrible for most of us, but if you're closer to the coast, you may have to endure at least some times of passing rain. Some of it may be heavy. It's going to be isolated elsewhere, but even across some interior sections, there could be an isolated shower. We have seen at least a few specks of rain. Northernmost Liberty County, sections of Gadsden County where some outflow and sea breeze combination may help to build some clouds. So near and south of that boundary, there may be at least a buildup of clouds and maybe even brief showers, some of which over western Leon County and even in eastern Wtxl County, north of St. Mark's, where some of the clouds are just tall enough to cause a couple of lightning flashes. They're not very frequent, but they may catch you off guard. So if you see some towering clouds, a darkening sky, just be forewarned that you may get at least some occasional lightning. That's also been occurring southeast of Perry, southwest of Perry, where some of the heaviest rain is just off of 98. Also spotty isolated rain in Lafayette County along the Suwannee River. Also a few isolated spots of rain straddling the state line, for example, as well as in eastern Hamilton County and across our interior south central and southeast Georgia counties. Similar setup with overall east winds pushing at least some influence from the Atlantic into the Okefenokee region. Plus you throw in the heating that we naturally have, and a few of those isolated pockets of rain will scoot right on through. So overall coverage is still limited, but what is out there, it could certainly be of impact for your evening plans. Around the capital city and most of the metro area, sun and cloud mix and plenty warm, 90 degrees, feeling like 98. The moisture increasing just a bit, but it's enough to notice and increase that heat index value. Even though we still have at least some of the overall effects of high pressure really keeping the thunderstorms from becoming too widespread, it is in a weakening phase basically, plus our winds are now more from the east. The thunderstorm development a little more vibrant across the peninsula with the collision of the sea breezes and the overall east flow, but not the same quite of setup for us. So after isolated showers and storms for the evening, by midnight we'll be quieter with a clearer sky. And tomorrow, very similar setup to what we've had today. I think we'll see sunshine to start, sun and cloud mix by midday, few isolated showers forming with some sea breeze support as winds are still mostly from an east or perhaps occasionally southeast direction. Evening temperatures, they will retain a lot of that warmth that we had today, so it'll be taking some time to get back into the upper 70s. Overnight, I do think we'll slip back into the lower to mid 70s, and that's pretty close to average for this time in August. Offshore east to southeast winds through tonight into tomorrow afternoon, wind speeds around 6 to 14 knots and seas around 1 to 2 feet. A light chop for bay and inland waters, and still a moderate rip current risk. It could be occasionally high along the Forgotten Coast. Few clouds overnight, 73. Not much of a rain threat after midnight for tomorrow, right around 90. And at least half of us will get rain at least once during your Saturday. Decreased rain chances early next week.
Okay, so your pick of the week is going to be Saturday?
I may go for Sunday. I think more of us could have fewer showers, so maybe not so much rain impact.
Okay, so there you go. You're going to get out there, try to enjoy it while you can.
That's right.
Last weekend of August.
Who can believe it?
Right. Well, coming up, a traffic stop ended in a very special friendship for a little boy. Plus, at 5:30, a Tallahassee program is helping young girls get mentors. Well, what do Disney and Dunkin' Donuts have in common? Well, they've both been visited by a princess, except in this case, police say Cinderella stole more than $300 from the Tallahassee coffee chain. Authorities say 56-year-old Cinderella Snyder is a manager at the Dunkin' Donuts on Thomasville Road in Tallahassee. Police said when customers paid in cash, she pocketed the money instead of putting it in the register. But just like the Disney princess, her fairy tale came to an end. One of the owners says he saw surveillance footage of Cinderella stealing the money. Since August 1st, he says she stole $340, and that number may increase as he watches older tapes. Well, getting pulled over can be nerve-wracking for anyone, but especially for 7-year-old Jacob Hudson, who has pandas, which can cause anxiety. When his mom got pulled over, Hudson was distressed. So Officer Adam Hamilton asked Hudson if he wanted to sit in the patrol car, which Hudson loved.
I didn't know that my son was different. He just saw a little boy who was frightened, and he wanted to make a difference in a child's life.
A few days later, Hudson got a tour of the whole police station. Hudson says the officer changed his life. Instead of being afraid of police officers, now he wants to be one when he grows up.
Warm conditions at this hour, so if it's 93, for example, in Adel, and if you don't get rain, you're going to stay warm for several more hours. And it looks like the more north you go, the less likely rain will be. And it's only widely scattered to isolated, a little more in number across the southeast Big Bend. So if you're concerned about thunderstorms for your Friday evening and nighttime plans, the closer you are to the coast, the more probable it is to at least get in on a brief period of rain or a couple thunderstorms. But after 11 or 12 o'clock, any clouds that are out there should begin to fade. A clearer early morning Saturday, but not cooler, of course. It will stay in the mid-70s.
That does it for the News at 5. Thanks for joining us. Stay tuned. The News at 5:30 is up next.